opening weekend's in the books, and the Pirates will be headed to Buies Creek on Tuesday night. And our next guest, he and I always laugh about this. There are a few things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and East Carolina playing Campbell in the fourth game of the season down in Buies Creek. Welcome into the show, Campbell head coach Justin Haire.
Yeah, thanks, Bubba. That's Cliff and Coach Palumbo been great to us when it comes to scheduling, man. First midweek, last midweek for 8 straight years, 9 straight years now. So it's a good setup, I think, for both sides, and always fun to know exactly who we got game 4, and I guess about game 53 too. So
your club obviously had a very strong challenge on opening weekend with Rutgers out of the Big Ten there in Buies Creek. But before we talk about that series and Campbell's taking 2 out of 3 from the Scarlet Knights, you're entering year 9 here or there in Buies Creek. So just tell our viewers and listeners what you've established with that Campbell program, excuse me.
Yeah, year 9. It's crazy. Year 16 overall. I was the assistant here for 7 years, and now this year 9 as the head coach. And been fortunate enough the last 4 full seasons we've won the regular season championship in the Big South Conference. We've won 3 tournament championships, been to 4 straight regionals, been to 2 regional finals. 2019 was in Greenville, and then 2021 we were at Mississippi State, and last year we were at Tennessee, and so continue to try to drive the program forward, and been fortunate to have a lot of really good players. Had 2 players taken in the first round last year with the 13th and 36th overall pick, and 2 more guys. One guy got drafted and signed, and another guy got drafted signed free agent deal. So we had has had some success in the recent drafts, and trying to build something special and something we can compete at the national level year in and year out.
And you've certainly done that. I know last year when you guys went over to Knoxville, I was keeping a close eye and doing some school board watching the game on my phone while I was at the Greenville Regional. And you guys certainly gave the Vols everything they wanted, took them down to the brink. But taking a look at this year's team, talk about some of what you return as expected. You are the preseason pick. We all know that doesn't mean but so much, but it's one on the field. But once again, folks are expecting you to win the Big South, and you had the preseason pitcher and player of the year.
Yeah, we got Cade Keeler, kind of our Friday guy, returning on the mound. He actually pitched at ECU, started for us at ECU last year at the end of the year, and threw against Tennessee in the regional. Pitched for Team USA this past summer, and in the Cape before that, and junior right-handed pitcher. He's really special. Probably has a chance to go on the first day of the draft. Hopefully if he stays healthy and all things continue to click for him. And Drake Pearson was preseason player of the year. Hit 19 home runs for us last year, plays first base. So got some guys that, have some experience and some of that stuff coming back. Him and, offensively, him and Jared Belbin both had 19 home runs. Tyler Halstead hit 375 or something like that for us last year. And so got, 4 or 5 guys that in our lineup that have kind of been through the fire and kind of understand that. We got, a lot of guys on the mound. I think we got 13 or 14 returning pitchers and some guys that have had different roles for us that'll have different roles for us this year. Brought in some guys, some new guys that I think will be very good for us. So, between, Cade Keeler and Ty Cummings and Aaron Rund and some of those guys that, are familiar names for our fan base, within our pitching staff, we'll mix in some new guys, Hunter Lloyd and which is a transfer from East Tennessee State. Ernie Day threw really well for us yesterday. Chance Tequila was really, really good for us. Junior college transfer was really good for us on Saturday. So it's a good mix of new and old. and some guys that have been through the fire and have some really good experience. So looking forward to those guys being able to carry us and kind of set the tone for us early and often.
Part of continuing to advance the program is putting together such a challenging non-conference schedule. Clearly, there's no shortage of regional opponents with the likes of East Carolina, North Carolina, NC State, Duke, etc., to pick from. But then you also are bringing in opponents for 3-game series, like the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, who were 44-15 a season ago. So just talk about your philosophy there as you continue to seek to get this program to a super regional and beyond.
Yeah, again, I think there's a couple of pieces of that I think are really important when it comes to scheduling. One, East Carolina's in the American, and it's probably one of the top 4, 5, 6 conferences. Strength of schedule from a conference standpoint. We're not fortunate enough to have those opportunities in conference. Our conference is what it is. There's very good teams, but sometimes that RPI and strength of schedule is not great. So it doesn't set us up for a ton of success where we can build, a high RPI and strength of schedule. So we need to make sure we do a very good job in our non-conference scheduling, where we can challenge ourselves. And when we have good years, we can be in that conversation, to be an at-large bid to get into the NCAA tournament, because, we don't want to, we just don't want to leave anything to chance. Right. And so, it's really hard to earn an at-large bid. It's certainly harder even as a mid-major. And so developing a reputation for being able to play anybody, anywhere, at any time kind of is really important. And being able, the portion of our schedule that we control really needs to challenge us and set us up for when we do have good clubs and good teams. We have an opportunity to be in that conversation. But then I think the other piece is, that we want to make sure that we're playing the best teams in the country, that we're challenging ourselves in different environments, different stadiums, teams out of different big conferences and all those sorts of things, because one, it makes us better as a program and as a team, but two, it also gives our guys confidence that, for us to get to Omaha, we're going to have to run through a regional in Greenville or Knoxville or Starkville or Fullerton or Stanford or somewhere with a name brand name attached to it. And so, our guys need to be used to playing in those atmospheres against those type of teams, so that, hey, this is just like any other Tuesday night game. This is just like any other environment that we've been in all year. And I think consistent scheduling like that over the course of time has really benefited us and put us in a position to be successful both in and out of conference, and allowed us, to be an at-large bid for the first time in school history in 2021. And, be in that conversation, should one weekend at a conference tournament at the end of May not go the way we want it to.
As I mentioned in the open, you guys took 2 out of 3 from Rutgers, winning 11-5 in the opener, 10-0 in game 2, before falling 16-3 in the series finale. So what were some of the things that you saw going through all 3 phases of the game on opening weekend?
Yeah, Friday and Saturday, I thought we kind of executed in all 3 facets. We did a good job of being able to control the strike zone against a guy that their Friday guy is really good, has really, really good stuff, kind of a sidearm guy with 93 to 97 and with a slider and a little cutter. And we did a good job of being able to control the zone on him and get him out after 2 and get into the bullpen a little bit. We pitched it really well. Cade Keeler punched out 8, I think, in 5 innings and gave up 2 earned. Was pretty sharp early after a little rain delay. And then, Saturday, kind of the same thing on the mound. Chance Tequila did a really good job, controlled the tempo and really got ahead and put those guys in some defensive counts. And Rutgers led the country in runs scored last year. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, from a pitching and defense standpoint, because they can really score and they've got some really nice players. Offensively, we were able to execute, kind of in the run game and the short game. We were able to bang some balls off the wall, hit some balls out of the yard and do some different things, we're Friday and Saturday looked like we were a little bit further along in our development than maybe we have been early in some years past. So I felt really good about that. And then, quite honestly, Sunday we didn't execute and really in any facet. Maybe I didn't do a very good job of preparing our guys, but we didn't pitch it great. We got a poor start and we didn't help ourselves out defensively. We had 2 errors, which was our first 2 errors of the year. We dropped the fly ball in center field and, we made probably 4 or 5 other, mental mistakes that kind of set them up to create some innings. And then, offensively, we left guys on. We didn't, short game like we're capable of doing. We had 12 guys left on base and had some opportunities in the middle to kind of get back into the game and get some momentum that we didn't do. And so, we'll practice again today and address some of those things and learn from our mistakes, learn from the things that we did well, and try to make sure we're ready for Tuesday night.
A few minutes ago, you referenced some of those familiar faces that we've seen so much production from already, but you've continued to recruit at a higher and higher level as this program has grown. And with that being the case, who are some guys that are new to the Campbell program that we may be a little surprised from on Tuesday night or continuing on throughout the season?
Yeah, I think on the mound, we got some guys that will be solid. We'll start Hunter Lloyd on the mound on Tuesday. He's a transfer from East Tennessee State. He's played in the Cape this past summer and got a chance to really do some nice things for us on the mound. I think we'll match up, in the midweek with our non-conference schedule, and he's a weekend quality type arm, and so I'm excited to see him get out there and get his feet wet in our program. Chance to kill D'Aquila from Catawba Valley was our Saturday guy. Really good pitchability. Ernie Day is from Iowa Western. Also, a big arm and has a chance to do some really nice things. Offensively, we've got a good mix of new guys. Chandler Riley is a transfer from Gaston College and plays third base for us and really solid defensively, and left-handed hitters got a chance to do some things. I think he's, one of our better pure hitters. He didn't have a great opening weekend, but sometimes, that happens. And, but once he gets going, I think he'll be really solid. Trenton Harris plays shortstop for us from Iowa Western Community College and really, really solid in the field and put together a really nice opening weekend. And we got, a handful of outfielders that, that are pretty good and have a chance to do some things. Peyton Howard and Max Weller and some different guys out there. So it's going to be a fun group. And we try to do a really good job when it comes to junior college transfers and some of that stuff. And so, a lot of those guys will get a chance early to jump in and make an impact and, do some good things for us.
Obviously, your focus has been on your team, but in preparation for Tuesday's game, obviously East Carolina coming off a sweep of A10 foe George Washington, really was challenged in Game 1 on Saturday's doubleheader, but found a way to come back and win that and rode that momentum to a series sweep. So, what are some of the things that you've seen from Cliff Godwin's team?
Honestly, I haven't watched a single bit of video, but I know this. It doesn't matter if we would play Coach Godwin's team in July or in January or February and May and whatever. Like, I know they're going to be tough. I know they're going to be really well coached. I know that they're going to play with some intensity and they're going to be clean and they're going to challenge you in a lot of different ways. They're going to be able to short game. They're going to have some guys that can run the ball out of the yard. They're going to have a lot of options out of the bullpen that will offer you different looks and that you're going to have to make adjustments to. It's always, though we haven't had a ton of success when it comes to wins and losses, I don't think we've played some really good games and really had some solid battles. I know that we're going to have a really good measuring stick for where we are. Hopefully we're a decent measuring stick for them for where they are. I know that there's going to be a lot of talent out there on Tuesday night and everybody's going to be really well coached, hopefully. And hopefully it's going to be a really, really good game and a tough win for whoever gets it.
With the exception of the 2021 season, this has been a home and away series, home and home rather, for quite some time, with the scheduling quirk of 21. Now this year, we're taking it a step further. In addition to playing in Greenville and Buies Creek, there's also a game at the beautiful Woodpeckers ballpark there in Fayetteville. So just talk about you and Cliff being on the same page there. I guess Coach Palumbo is the one handling the scheduling, but talk about that arrangement.
Yeah, it's one of those things that sometimes necessity breeds some creativity, right? Like we both had a date there in March or a week in March that we needed a midweek game, and we're both having a hard time of filling that with other people for whatever reason. We got dropped or they got dropped by somebody or schedule changes. Stuff happens all the time. And Coach Palumbo just reached out and said, hey, what would you think about playing a third game? Maybe we can find a neutral site. And we talked it through and was able to get Fayetteville kind of in the mix. And him and Coach Godwin got together and talked about it. And, so I think it's going to be a fun, it's going to be a little bit of a fun deal, man. Where we'll get a chance to play each other 3 times. It should be a good, strength of schedule and RPI situation for both teams. Fayetteville's a really, really nice stadium. Should be a good crowd, I would think, there, and not far from where Coach Godwin grew up. And so, be right down the road from some family members for him. And so, people in Eastern North Carolina, are passionate about Pirate baseball. And so I think they'll come out. I think our fan base will come out on that Wednesday night, and hopefully it'll be a really good situation for everybody and something maybe we can look to do, sometime in the future. I don't think we can do it in 24, but we've talked about, that being an option, sometime in the future as well. I think it, gives us a chance to face really good opponents for a third time. And that's always a good thing for college baseball and certainly a good thing for both programs, hopefully.
No doubt. Coach, appreciate your time. And, before we let you run and go about your business today, so you tell folks how they can follow you on social media as well as the program there on the screen.
Yeah, sure. You follow me on Twitter. I'm fairly active on Twitter and try to provide some value for people. J Haire 03, JHAIRE 03 is my Twitter handle, and same on Instagram, I think. And then Go Camels BSB is our Twitter handle on social for Instagram and Twitter for our program feed, which we try to do a really good job of and keep people locked in. We got us streaming on ESPN Plus, but follow along on live stats and follow on Twitter. Our folks do a really good job on that kind of stuff. So would love to have some people jump on and follow us and be along for the ride.
Again, appreciate the visit, and we'll talk to you later in the season.
Thanks, Bubba. Talk to you later, man.